What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of Dev Talks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering and technology wise. In this video, we're actually going to be diving into Nvidia coming to America. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it all, and let's dive right in.
Let us kick off this big hour with one of the world's biggest companies making a big-time commitment, and that is Nvidia. Nvidia finally unveiling exactly where and when it's going to be investing hundreds of millions of dollars in American manufacturing. Dare we say, it's a feel-good story, but it's also an important one for maybe the most important stock in the world. Let's talk about it at the kickoff power lunch with Christina Partsinevelos joining us from the NASDAQ. And yes, this does appear, Christina, to be not only big news, but a little bit of good news.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. And the president is celebrating that. But as the White House's semiconductor tariff investigation gets underway and they determine what they're going to charge chip companies, Nvidia announced plans today to establish over 1 million square feet of manufacturing space in the United States. There's that feel-good story. The tech giant is going to produce Blackwell chips in Arizona and build AI supercomputers in Texas through partnerships with Foxconn and Wistron. With these facilities, it's expected to be operational within about 12 to 15 months. And
This is pretty much all the information we needed right here for them to tell us what's going on and how long it's going to take, because there's a reason why he called Nvidia the most important stock globally. And the reason why it's the most important stock right now globally is because they're the lead manufacturer and seller to a lot of these tech companies. And in the world, tech companies run the world right now, like it or not, especially with this whole change with AI and everything. This Nvidia is number one when it comes to all of that. So since they are headwaying this way and they're leading the way in this course, and the future is changing more towards AI, robotics, and all of that, and they're the main leaders, they are the most important stock now to that people are looking at, the part that everybody invests into, especially with Nvidia doing the stock split, so that there's more shares available and that more people can continue to invest in Nvidia. And all these stocks have been going down due to the tariffs coming around. But since the stocks have been coming down due to tariffs, here's another thing and caveat to it is you have to look at the companies that are coming to the US. And this is why a lot of people are saying it's going to get bad before it gets better, or it's worse now, but it's going to get better as time goes on, because you don't know if stuff is being tariffed and all these products are being tariffed and these companies are committing money into the United States and they're building up in today's day right now. Of course, stuff is going to be more expensive because these companies haven't had the chance to be fully operational in the United States. They haven't had the chance. Right here, we say it's going to take a year or a little bit more for these facilities to become operational. And they're looking for Arizona as a pinpoint of where they want to build out. I think Nvidia already hires people in the U.S. and they have like engineers in San Francisco and stuff. And I think they have an office out there as well too. I believe it's in San Francisco, but now they're bringing the manufacturing to the U.S. so we're not so reliant on shipping stuff over. And the reason why I know that this is so important, especially to have in the United States, and why all this investment of manufacturing is coming to the United States, is because people won't be doing a lot of the manufacturing jobs anymore. So what do you need slave labor for when you have robotics doing a lot of this stuff? You can have figure bots all through your assembly line, and you can have robots doing QA. We just saw that with what car company was it? I feel like it was like Ford or GM or one of those car companies. Oh no, it was Toyota. I think it was Toyota. They now let these two robots, when they come off the line, do QA for cars. And we did a whole video on that on the channel, I think a week or two ago. I feel like it was like 2 weeks ago when that news first broke. But it's going to be really important because, yes, there is going to be new jobs that come out of this, because no facility is 100% robotic. You look at Amazon's major facilities where they have all those robots and stuff, they still have people there, but it's very specific type of jobs that are available in these warehouses and in the workforce in that sense. So when we're sitting here and we're looking at, hey, stuff and prices are going up now, it's going to be bad until a year goes by. This came out last week and it's like, hey, yes, life's going to suck. These companies are going to pay more for their products that they get from Nvidia. A lot of these American companies will because they don't have to ship it. But here's the thing. Slave labor won't be a thing no more. What what goes on out there with when they have 12-year-olds and whatever young kids and crazy people making pennies to the dollar for manufacturing and everybody just wants to have cheaper prices. It won't be a thing eventually. They gonna have robots doing that stuff. What they need them to do it anymore if they're gonna have robots do it in our country, and now they don't have to worry about shipping the product anymore, and labor is now cheaper. This is the importance to this all. And I don't think anybody's actually spoken on it properly and put the nail in the coffin there. I think that's the reason why everything is going on the way that it has been going on. And I think that's big for Nvidia to come over here as well with all the other companies that have been the Taiwan Semiconductors. They're building manufacturing here. So they're all going to be in local proximity to each other in the US, all because of these tariffs. So yes, it's going to suck for a while. But hey, get your investments up because they about to be booming and making money in over a year and a half, 2 years. I give it 2 years. By the second year hits, after they've been fully operational for a year, 6 months, they're going to be booming. When they start allowing more robots into the manufacturing process and they don't need as much human labor to develop certain stuff and build the manufacturing, it's gonna be something different. Sorry for my voice. I'm getting a little sick after a run. But yeah, let's continue on and see what else they have to say.
This move is really part of Nvidia's previously announced $500 billion AI infrastructure investment over 4 years. Though when first revealed, it was last month, if I recall, the details were limited. It's still not entirely clear, Brian, how much AI manufacturing will actually relocate to American soil, given that the semiconductor supply chain remains predominantly centered in Asia and is incredibly complex, which was in that Nvidia blog post today.
And that's why Taiwan Semiconductor is coming. So if they're going to be developing the product in America, they will have the supply to do everything they need to in America. So they need everything to be operational right now. Right now it's not. So that's why the haziness is here. There should be nothing to worry about at all when all these companies get fully operational in the U.S.
Trump administration, though, views this development as validation of its tariff strategy. President Trump shared the news on Truth Social and stated, also from the Oval Office this morning, the higher the tariff, the faster they come. Pretty much referring to manufacturers establishing domestic operations or promising to do so. TSMC is making similar commitments with its pledge of an additional $100 billion investment, while Apple has committed $500 billion over the next 4 years. These actions may establish a new precedent for how technology companies respond to current trade pressures. Lobby the president to get exempted. The winners will likely be semiconductor companies or hardware firms that can rapidly shift production to U.S. soil while securing favorable exemptions through their promised domestic investments. Brian.
Okay, not to bring politics into this or leave it out, because that's what I'd prefer to do, to be honest, Christina, but I've got to imagine these kinds of capital commitments are not made in a matter of weeks. These must be multi-month or multi-quarter or multi-year type plans. I wonder if they're bigger than any president. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's interesting how all of these promises are over a 4-year term, right? To your point, Foxconn and Wistron are already established manufacturing hubs. It's just a question as to how advanced they can produce to really be at the level that Nvidia needs. For TSMC has said, the Taiwanese minister did say in Taiwan that the plant here in the United States is not going to be the most advanced. So you have to keep in mind, too, that companies like Nvidia or AMD may not be able to even produce on American soil if the technology isn't as advanced as they need. Especially,
I like to call BS on that, because how is it more advanced in your country but not you can't bring the same tools to build the plant over here? And I would really question that train of thinking because I think that's BS. I think it's BS. I think you can make just as good of they could make just as good as a manufacturing place here. The only way it won't be just as good is, hey, we're trying to get something up first, and it'll just be a normal one, and then we can make a more advanced one that will take several years to build because of certain restrictions and everything in that regard. If you said that to me, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. I could probably agree with you in that sense. But once again, we're not in any of these calls. And another thing is, I think another reason why, like I said, Taiwan Semiconductors will be here, so they will have the product that they need to eventually, Nvidia. But uh, I think one of the reasons why it's spread out between a 4-year plan is for a few reasons. One, we don't know who the next president will be and what kind of stuff they're going to change. And then two, as a lot of companies do when it comes to contracts and stuff like that, and if you want to see if you want to continue to invest into a country, they're probably going to see what it's like, what they get out of it, what kind of benefits did they get out of investing all this money into the country. And then after 4 years, if it's not good or beneficial to them in any way, they'll pull out and go somewhere else. So I think that's kind of the reason why they do that in that kind of term sense. But I definitely call BS where they don't have the type of technologies and stuff that they need. That's total BS.
When they're putting out chips on an annual cadence, and these fabs can take anywhere between 3 and 5 years to build. They have to get exemptions, they have to get licenses, they need to find the talent, which I don't think we preface enough. TSMC Arizona is a great example. I was there 2 years ago interviewing the president of TSMC Arizona, and the topic of the interview was the fact that they had to fly in so many workers from Taiwan. His argument was that Americans were not skilled enough to work with advanced equipment makers like ASML, so they had to fly in people. So is that going to be the case for all of these other promises?
Well, very quickly, how much of this is also made?
Or they didn't want to train people, or, I mean, oh my gosh. When it comes to jobs and positions and everything, certain companies need to do better with training. And you know what the restaurant industry does when they open a new store? They bring people over. And we pretty much got the gist of this, and we kind of understand what's kind of going on as far as Nvidia coming here. But that last point, just to cover the last point, when restaurants open a new restaurant, right, and it's a restaurant chain or anything in that matter, like if a location opens up a new store, they pull employees from already functioning store to the new store for opening day for a few reasons. One, they already have experienced people there and people who know what they're doing, and those people who are experienced can train the new people. So they get them to train them properly and stuff like that. So who knows? Taiwan could have did that. Yeah, you spoke to them. Yeah, maybe day one, because they've never dealt with your type of work. They didn't know how to deal with your type of technology and stuff like that. So they had to learn off of it and really do some studying and things. And it's going to take some time. Schools and education needs to be better to where we can be able to understand this stuff, and more people can, who are really wanting these positions, can go into these types of degrees and fields to be able to work in these type of environments. Another thing is, America hasn't had manufacturing in so long, and a lot of industries and stuff. So we have to figure out a way for people to get back into that and learn those types of skills and be able to build these technologies and stuff and have that kind of mental shift as a people as well too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it all. If you want to send me anything to react to, article, video, send me an email at devtalkspod@gmail.com. That's in the description, along with my personal channel where we got a lot of good videos coming out on there too. Every now and then, slowly but surely, but we'll get it up there in no time for sure. This channel's just my baby and everything. But without further ado, peace and see y'all next time.